Alright, sorry about that. I don't know. She gave a small sigh of abject disappointment. It's okay. I was wondering what she was doing for the festival. You'll come back when you're done, then. Sure, I'll keep out an eye out for Anako, too. Thank you, Sal. I walk off from the stall and find a seat, carefully cradling the steaming wooden bowl in both hands. Compared to the dumplings from before, it's quite nice. Look, where do you get dumpling from? Where? I remember talking about takoyaki, but I don't remember dumplings. So it's takoyaki, and then there's dumplings, and now the miso soup. That's 3 already. Alright, it's a little cool compared to what it probably should be, perhaps, but the flavor is enough to cover for that reasonably well. As a drink, I can't help but feel somewhat guilty for not being as involved in the festival as others. It can't really be helped, considering I was dropped into school only a week ago, but it still weighs heavily on my mind. You had lots of chances. Again, I'm gonna say this again. You had a lot of chances. You had a lot of chances to help out, but no, you decided not to. Or I decided for you. I decided for you to not to. That and the fact that a few students don't really seem to be enjoying the festival as much as the visitors. Eventually, I find my bowl and leave for the stall to drop it off. Considering that there seems to be no one in line, I take my time walking up. It seems the teacher's mission paid off. There are now over a dozen students helping, and much of the unpacking has been done. Despite most of them seeming quite relaxed as they work, Lily still appears to be somewhat stressed. Right. I know what I'll do. Even if it's just one person, I'll make the festival more enjoyable for her. As I place the bowl on the counter, I call out to Lily. Ah, Sal, you're back. You brought it back. Yeah, here. I slide it into her hands and she takes it over to someone who is apparently on cleaning duty. Considering that I didn't see them here before, it's probably a penalty for their tardiness. Hey, Lily. She pricks up and returns to the counter as she hears my voice again, realizing that I'm still here. Wanna go see some more of the festival? Okay, that just changed everything. She pumps her cheeks disapprovingly. It looks kinda cute, and in complete contradiction to her usual reserved nature. It takes a few seconds for me to realize what she's taking issues with. Oops. I didn't mean to. Lily giggles at exposing her teasing for what it is. Okay, so instead of saying, hey, I'll hang out with Hanako, I'm saying, hey, I'll hang out with you and forget about Hanako. You're still not used to the school, are you? She got me. Still, I kind of need to stay with our stall. It's taken until just now to even get everything backed. I guess her reluctance shouldn't overly surprise me, considering how much she's put into this. Everything seems to be running fine now, though. Besides, you've got extra help on hand anyway. A boy in the middle of the cooking some soba noodles turns towards us, grinning. Go on, Lils. You've earned yourself a break. We can hold down the fort for now. If you say so. It's okay then. It's okay then, I suppose. But if you need any help, then we'll call you. Go on, we'll be fine. Lily finally gives up her resistance as she waves a spatula at her. She feels her way around the back of the stall and picks up her cane on the way. I guess the first thing we should do is look for Alko. Lily seems kind of worried about her. I doubt she'd be kind of... Okay, so we're still going to Adako. We're bringing Lily along. And I doubt she'd be that kind of person to enjoy milling about in crowds like this all alone. So I guess we should search for Hanako. Or do first. Both of us go quiet for a moment to think. Maybe she's in her dorm room. I doubt it. She doesn't keep too many things in there, so she'd have nothing to do. Okay, she's obviously in the library, guys. Ah, the library. Yep. It's a good place as any to search for an avid reader, I suppose. The library it is. We'll check there first, then. Aside from the muffled sounds of the crowd seeping in from outside, the inside of the school seems almost deserted. In order to make sure everyone had enough room, I guess all the events were organized to be held outside on school grounds. They're definitely quite large by any other school standards. It's nice and quiet in here. It's nice and quiet in here, isn't it? Yeah, much nicer than the hustle and bustle outside. We take our time and slowly walk through the first floor of the school, eventually reaching the stairs to the second floor. I can't help but notice how Lily anticipates every door and obstacle or cane remaining still, and her hand skating along the hallway railings. You really know the school well, don't you? She smiles and nods straight ahead. I've been here for years, so I know where everything is. The dorms still trip me up though sometimes. I haven't been there as long and they're not as well laid out as the main building. If I'm remembering right, there used to be an unused building before being renovated and used as dormitories. That explains why the male and female dorms look differently from the outside, and why their rooms seem kind of unusual for sleeping quarters. I'd assumed she'd be living in the dormitories since she began attending the school, but now I'm reminded of what she said yesterday. That's right, you mentioned that before. I'd assumed that most of the students here lived in the dormitories once they enrolled. A lot of them seem to, in any case. Molly's expression becomes somewhat harder to read, my question evidently touching on a delicate point. Well, how should I say? Everyone has their reasons. Something tells me that one of the reasons is Hanako, answered tiptoeing around the answer. My own predicament is yet another such case. I guess that's a choice everyone here would have to make for themselves, or, in my instance, have made for them. It can't be helped, I suppose. At least Yamaku itself seems like a nice place. It's good to hear you say that. I thought you would coming to dislike it. What about you, though? My reversal on Lily's statement takes her by surprise. I've been here for a while, so it's not that. You just seem pretty depressed about Akira. What's with that look? Akira's taken. Sorry, Sal. Oh. Lee never sees how fast my palm meets my face at her sly accusation. Hey, I was worried about you. That's no way to respond to concern. While she gives her amused grin, we round to the corner of the hallway and enter the library. As we do, it isn't hard to spot Hanako, considering that the room is completely devoid of anyone else. Given that there's no staff around, I guess there's no need to head to the usual library rules. I call out to her, "Hey, Hanako!" Hanako's here? As she hears our voice, Hanako's head flicks up from behind the book, and probably the same one she's been reading on Friday. Probably not. Sal? Lily? Oh my god. Just thought we'd drop by. We managed to escape from the noodle saw with a little help. There wasn't really an escape. Hanako gives a small giggle, briefly surprising both of us. I just thought that Lily might not be enjoying the festival. Well, now we can enjoy it together, right? The two nod happily before we set out of the library towards the festival. Or the festives, or whatever we go. I hand over some charges to the girl. There's some change, not charge. Some change to the girl behind the counter, and take the 2 styrofoam cups of tea. I try to insinuate my bow a bit to cover for the fact she's quite obviously deaf. Come to think of it, I probably should have asked for help instead of leaving those two in the gardens when I bought drinks. Trying to juggle 2 cups of hot tea for them, and a can of coffee for myself. Coffee, again. For myself, on the vending machine isn't exactly easy. With some careful maneuvering, though, I managed to keep everything stable and upright as I walked through the bench where Lily and Anako were sitting and chatting. It's actually quite a nice place, lit only by moonlight and tucked away some distance from the main events. Compared to how hot it had been during the day, this spot is also pleasantly cool by now. Not that it matters all that much. Most of the visitors have moved to the areas that are either close to the fireworks or higher on the hill in order to view the display apparently planned. Welcome back, Isao. Her ears are good. Not exactly close, and even Hanako hadn't noticed me. Here you go. Sorry it's instant, but that's all they had left by now. Hanako gingerly takes a cup from my hand, and I gently place the other into Lily's outstretched hand. Did you enjoy the festival then, Hisao? Yeah, it was pretty fun. An honest answer. Much of the food had been somewhat subpar, but it was a lot of fun in the end, especially with Hanako and Lily. In fact, I think those two may have enjoyed themselves even more than I did. With both Lily and I around, much of Hanako's withdrawn nature around others died down enough for her to enjoy herself. Well, I thought she got shot! Oh my god. As we sit drinking, the whistle of the fireworks rings out before it explodes into the vibrant shower of blue against the night sky, the heralding beginning of the end of the festival. Dude, the red firework came in the side of her head. I thought she got shot. Holy. Enthusiastic shouts can be heard from the crowd scattering around the school grounds celebrating them. For minutes on end, Hanako and I watched the fireworks overhead as Lily blissfully listened to them with her eyes shut. Red, green, yellow, star-shaped, circular, and patterned, and all manner of shapes and colors filled the air, one after the other, and danced across the sky. No place near where I lived puts on such a lavish displays. Festivals like this were a thing of the past in such a metropolitan area. To be seeing such a sight with these two, it's probably the happiest I've been in a long while. So, that's it. The festival's finally ending. Yeah. She gives a delicate, wistful sigh. As much as I must complain about all the stuff we had to do, it's still sad we'll have graduated before the next Himako festival. I walked towards Lily and stand beside her, gently resting a hand on her shoulder. Don't worry. We'll still have Tanabata later in the year, right? I don't remember doing that with Hanako's arc. Actually, wait. Probably because we never got there. You're right. It'd be nice to go, and we're there when it comes. Minutes of silence pass, with only the blast of the fireworks to be heard. We didn't... With Hanako's arc again. Going back to it. Lily didn't even come back before it ended. I kind of wonder what happened. Seeing these two remind me of those words of advice that Lily had given me as well as we walked into the town together. I really do wonder how would... God damn it. Cherish the opportunity to make new friends. Huh. Hey Lily. She turns her head slightly to show she's listening. Hanako's gaze still firmly fixed on the Technicolor fireworks bursted overhead. You mind if I join you two for tea every now and again? The smile on her face is more than enough to see her answer. It would be our pleasure, Hisao. Act 2. Past. I wake to the annoying din of my alarm clock. Its bright red numerals lighting up my face. It's the same alarm clock I had at home, one of the few remaining artifacts from my days before coming to Yamaku. I'd hoped that using it would help ease my transition into new life. No such luck though. Groggily dragging myself out of bed, I wiped the sleep out of my eyes and reached over to my desk. I opened a couple of bottles of medication strewn across it and swallowed a few pills dry. By now the process is starting to become automatic, something I should be glad for given their purpose. Feeling more awake than before, I wandered to the bathroom. Be right back. So, sorry about that. While the shower warms up, my mind begins to wander as the new daily routine begins once again. The bright colors of the fireworks fill my mind, as do the two girls with whom I spend my time watching them. It feels strange to be moved so much by people I know so little about. Then again, I suppose these aren't normal circumstances. At least, I have someone to talk to now. Aside from my schoolmate next door. With the time left before school begins today, wanting, I begin to ready for class. Walking through the doors in the classroom, I notice I'm still somewhat early. I see about 5 or 6 students milling around, most of them looking as if they'd rather be still in bed. It's at times like this I appreciate being a morning person. That said, 2 students in particular seem just as perky as always. Hi Shizune. Hi Misha. I suddenly realized that my greeting would be lost on the former, so I quickly follow it up with a wave. He doesn't seem overly bothered. Or interested, for that matter. Hello, Hichat. Are you feeling well? I can assume her greeting comes from Shizune. It's hard to tell if she's speaking as herself or Shizune sometimes. Better than most everyone else, I guess. You two seem bright and chipper. Misha signs this back to Shizune as I say it. I like eliciting a somewhat terse answer, if her sharp and rapid arm movements are any indication. And considering these two made such a big deal out of special preparations, I probably should have chosen my words more carefully. Oh geez. Since you're a new student, we've been cutting you some slack. Please don't expect this kind of task dodging to be allowed in the future. Misha looks as if she's about to add her own comment, but quickly goes back to interpreting as Shizune's continues, unabated. Why your contribution to Class 3 $2 appreciated? Huh? Word sure got around quickly. That or these two have their fingers on the pulse of the school. We would prefer your efforts to be focused on the task at hand, namely your own class. As much as I hate to admit it, they do have a point. Before I can respond though, Shizune adds something more, which draws a smile from Misha. Did you enjoy the festival then? Lecture over, I guess. Yeah, it was good. Did you two enjoy it? Shizune gives a short nod as Misha grins and bounces her head up and down. The contrast, but side by side, is amusing. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice more students starting to trickle into the classroom. A quick glance at my watch confirms that they're a few minutes late. I look over to Nako's seat and realize she's already there, and contentedly reading a book. It makes me wonder how long she's been there without me noticing. Oh, she's so happy. With heavy footsteps coming from the hallway, signaling Mattel's arrival, our idle talking comes to an end. I take my seat next to Misha. As the door slides open, he strides through with a ponderous gait. His posture is even worse than usual, and his eyes... With his eyes barely staying up open, I guess my equipment to Lily and Hanako or about the staff was misplaced. Everyone opens their book and reaches it, and as he reaches his desk, the first class of the new week begins. I rub my eyes as the lunch bell rings out, glad for the temporary reprieve from work. I'm entirely unsurprised when I look over to the door and see Lily standing there, cane in hand, patiently waiting for Nako. Considering her acceptance of my request to join them yesterday, I decided to spend my lunchtime with them rather than eat alone. Oh. Nako moves surprisingly fast to meet her companion, and the two enter the hallway before I can catch up. Lily's head turns slightly, registering the sound of footsteps behind her. As Hanako notices and follows her lead, she almost jumps in surprise. Hisao? Hello, Hisao. Hi, sorry I startled you. Lily turns to greet me, helped in her orientation by Hanako. Good afternoon, Asao. Are you joining us? If it's no trouble, there's not much else to do, really. Lily gives a nod as if to silently brush away any idea that it would be troubling in it the least. We descend one step upstairs to walk down the hallway to our usual room. Our pace somewhat quicker than usual thanks to Lily using our Hanako for direction rather than her cane on the railings. As expected, it's deserted. The sound of the other clubs can only barely be heard as sunlight streams into the room from outside. Looking around the room, I notice a couple of empty easels propped up against the wall that I don't think were there before. The art club must use this room as extra storage. Should I get the chess set out? Hanako's voice seems less tense when she's directly addressing Lily. Yes, I'll make tea while you sort the pieces. I can do that for you if you'd like. She ponders the offer for a moment before smiling, confirming that I made the right choice. Her face is remarkably easy to read. Very well, thank you. She slides her retracted cane into the handle of her bag and sets it against one of the table legs before taking a seat opposite Hanako. As I prepare tea for the three of us, I can hear the small wooden pieces being set on the board. I wonder how good Lily is at chess given her circumstances. By the time I place the steaming teacups on the table, Lily and Hanako have already moved their first pieces as they nibble on the sandwiches and rice balls from their respective bags. I note the chessboard they're using has holes in the middle of each square, and pegs on the bottom of the pieces, and has each dark square slightly raised. Watching Lily's fingers skating over the board, tracing over the positions of the pieces, makes me marvel a little at the quite ingenuity of the design. It'd be specifically made for blind people. Well, okay. Here you go. Hanako gives a small nod as I put down the cup next to her side of the board. Lily's hand ventures sideways slightly, so I gently place the cup touching the tips of her fingers, a gesture she seems to appreciate. I finally take a seat and slightly sip the tea as the two play. A contrast in their appearance while playing is interesting to watch. Hanako looks closely at the board, her face one of focused concentration. Lily, on the other hand, keeps her head leveled and maintains her calm neutrality. Lily's gentle voice addressing both of us as she continues to play. How is class now that the festival is over? I looked at Hanako to see whether she'll answer first, but see that she's doing the same. Not great. Half the class seemed to be dozing off, even including the teacher. Not to mention the test on top of all that. Hanako quietly adds her own agreement with this. I can imagine that being a bit difficult for you, being a transfer student. Well, I think I did fine, other than the shock of a test coming so early. Science is probably my best subject. How'd you do, Hanako? Me, okay, I guess. Hanako's too sincere to be able to pull off lying very well. That much is obvious. Lily's smile slips very slightly. From her reaction, Hanako mustn't be skilled enough at academics to do very well without preparation. How did your class handle it, Lily? It went surprisingly well, actually. Only one student was absent, which was better than what the teacher expected. Probably Kenji. With the topic all but run dry, the two concentrate on their chess game once again. I can't say I've ever liked the idea of chess as a spectator sport, but given its unique nature, for once I'm wrapped in watching the game unfold. As time wears on, both of them demonstrate decent skill at playing the game, Having captured two pawns in Hanako, Having captured two pawns in Hanako, Lily has the upper hand, but only slightly. Until Hanako makes a strange move with her queen, seizing upon the lapse in judgment, Lily takes a piece with her knight. Without hesitation, Hanako moves a pawn to take Lily's rook on the opposite side of the board, and promotes it to queen. Lily's face falters as her fingers move over the pieces, and she realizes that she just fell to Hanako's trap. It's a little distracting to have the board traced out after each move, even if it's not out of necessity. Judging by Hanako's lack of reaction, she must be used to this. She and Lily must have played at least a few games of chess against each other after all. Check. That's not bad at all. Nice, Hanako. The compliment causes her to flower into a surprised blush. Thank you. I didn't think it would work. I look over to Lily, her fingers having just finished tracing out the position of her remaining pieces in an attempt to extricate her king from this bind. God, I think this is checkmate. I take another look on the board to confirm. Sure enough, her king has nowhere else to escape without being threatened by another piece. My earlier question as to which of them is better at this has just been answered. So it is. Lily gives a smile as Hanako smiles. Lily gives a small sigh as Hanako smiles. From the reaction, they seem fairly unusual. It seems like a fairly usual result. How long have you two been playing? Since I was young. Lily nods at Hanako's brief answer. Hanako taught me how to play soon after I met her. I can beat her every now and then, but that's a rarity. I don't seem to have the right mindset for it. If Lily came to Yamaku at the start of high school and met Hanako when she moved to the dorms, that means she only been playing for about 1 year. After seeing Hanako's level of play, I'm not too surprised Lily has trouble beating her. But she's better at languages than I am, so. Lily gives an appreciative, if slightly amused smile at Hanako's quick reversal of her compliment. Well that's how it is. Much to everyone's surprise, the bell rings, heralding an end to the lunch break. The game lasted longer than I thought it did. Same. I guess we better get back to class. Hanako's already in the middle of packing up, so I take Lily's bag and offer it to her. To my surprise, she takes it and nods, but then places it back down on the table. That's how. May I ask your request? Sure, go ahead. Would you mind if I were to quickly feel your face? Oh, no, go ahead. I don't mind. The question takes me severely off guard, but once I regain my composure, it seems sensible enough. So far, Lily has no idea what I actually look like, and this would be her only way to find out. Oh my god. That's adorable. Lily raises her right hand, which I take in mind and guide to my face before letting go. The room entirely silent as Lily's hands move over and around my features, from my chin to my cheeks, to everywhere else. I expected this to feel a lot more disquieting than it does. I suppose that's because the action is entirely a matter of practicality, being functionally no different to simply looking at someone's face. Her hand's soft, but what it takes me by surprise is the length of her fingers. Not to mention how sure even the slightest of her movements are. I have no doubt that her level of tactile feeling would be far beyond mine. Her hand briefly runs once through my hair before retreating, I'm sure that every inch of my face has been committed to her memory. It's only now, too, that I realize Hanako had been silently watching the entire time. Thank you for letting me do that, Isao. And if I might add, I think you're quite handsome. Ooh. Ooh. I blushed a little at her remark before raising a questioning eyebrow. But if you can't see how... Just because I can't see, that doesn't mean I don't have my own preferences. We better go now. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I'll see you later then, Lily. Walking through the hallways back to their classroom, I noticed that Nanako seems quieter than before, but also more comfortable. Slowly, her hand on Nanako's shoulder seems to pick up on her assured pace as well, smiling as they walk. If I could spend the rest of my time at Yamaku like this, I don't think it'd be so bad. All that's needed for joy are small exchanges of happiness after all. As I reached my desk and set my bag beside it, I realized something, or rather, my stomach does. I was too busy with these two, I forgot to buy lunch.